First off, thank you for taking this time and doing this with me. I know how intimidating and nerve-wracking it can be, and I'm just grateful that you agreed to it. Congratulations on your September Associate Spotlight. And you were about to tell me a little bit more on that you were an intern and that you had been here for 2 years. Can you elaborate more on who you are, what you did prior to Edafio, and then what do you do for Edafio now?
Yeah, so I'm Matthew. Before Edafio, I was an assistant manager at the movie theater in Conway, and going to school at UCA for an MIS degree with a minor in computer science. And I got an internship through UCA's career fair. I had met Lee Hammers. I doubt he remembers at all because he sees hundreds of people at these events. But and it was 2 years ago. But I met him, and then that turned into an interview, and then I started on a project. Um, but because it was the beginning of COVID, it didn't really lead anywhere. It was difficult to train someone remotely, and I don't think there was enough work at the time. So I had to get let go. But then at the end of the summer, I reapplied again,
Good for you.
and yeah, I was brought on in the field escalation team when that was first being formed. And um, after I graduated, I got a full-time position on the knock, which is where I am now. And it's been, man, almost 2 full years as a full-time employee, which is crazy.
It is.
Um,
But so much of it was during COVID.
yeah,
Were
for a
you
long time, nobody's I had no contact with anybody outside of Teams, so I got to know everybody through just looking at the organizational chart and the small pictures
small
on
pictures?
Teams. Yeah, so until people started coming into the office, I think it was just me, Miss Jennifer, and maybe one or two other people at any time in the office.
So what is it that after the 2 years that you've been with Edafio on the knock, what are some of the things that you enjoy about your role within the company? And
Mhm. There's a number of things that I really enjoy. I really enjoy my team. I think that's what really keeps me coming back is they're smart and funny, and
they are
it's
funny.
fun to
Yes.
collaborate with them. Yeah.
I'm like,
um,
they're funny over smart, but then I'm like, well, no, they're smart over, they're just the
I
best.
think it's equal levels, column
Yeah.
A and column B. But I think the things I like about the position the most are that I get to challenge myself, and every day it's a new set of problems to solve. But then also, I really love that the work that we do is appreciated by the clients.
Yeah.
And you can really tell after you get off the phone with them, they very strongly show you, thank you. I really appreciate that you were able to help me. Now I can get back to work is really the main thing. But it's nice to know that the work that we do is appreciated and really makes a difference to our clients. And
It
even
does.
as just I'm not so much a people person, but it's really nice to work with people, and just know that it's appreciated.
Well, and that what you're doing is solving a problem that they can't solve, which is a
Hmm.
great feeling to know that you've got the power, and not the power, but it's not like it's a power over, but a power to help others,
Hmm.
which is such a wonderful feeling. I mean, I think it's as that quote from Mr. Rogers, it's look for the helpers because that's what you want to emulate yourself as. And so it's essentially the knock team it's your helpers. It's the help desk.
Hmm.
They are there to guide you because you're at a point where you can't do it on your own. So
Yeah,
it's a
yeah,
pretty nice feeling. Did you do the crystal nose disc type?
I did. I
What
don't
is
remember what it was. I'd have to let me pull it up here.
because I normally that's something that I'm adding to the list. I think I can find it pretty quickly, Matthew.
Yeah, you may be able to find it faster than me.
You're a supporter.
That
So
sounds right.
yeah, I'm a counselor and I'm really close to being a supporter. So it's nice
Mhm.
I found this thing really interesting. So I always add that now just because I think it's really helpful for all of us 150 plus people at the company to go, okay, I know what that is because it's a little bit more attainable to know how to
Mhm.
communicate and interact with one another.
Yeah, I found that the results on that were actually really good, and it gives tips on like how to work with me and things that I do and do not like. I'm pulling it up here.
And
Um,
I found it really fascinating too because it pegged me almost identical to I mean, I don't think it could have pegged me
mhm.
any better.
Yeah, I'm likely to thrive in a role when paying attention to the needs and concerns of other people, asking for feedback regularly, playing a supporting role on a team, and staying out of the spotlight. Those are all pretty accurate.
See?
Yeah.
And you like putting you in the spotlight, which is what I also did with Derek, who was like, "This is not my thing." And I'm like, "I know, but sometimes we have to step outside of our comfort zone. We have to
hmm
challenge ourselves and 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 then we can say, well, we did it. We can say it's off the bucket list."
Yeah, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's been one of the main drivers for a lot of what I do on the knock because I guess coming in I wasn't very not I wouldn't say I wasn't very confident, but that's something that I have always wanted to improve on is just my confidence level. So I always put myself in positions where I have to talk to people or communicate in some way, knowing that it's not something that I'm good at, but if I do it, eventually it'll just become second nature. And I definitely speaking on the phones at first was something that I was really nervous about, but at a certain point, it just becomes something you do every day and don't really think about. But yeah, that's why I wanted to do the video and not just send you my answers over an email.
Right.
And
And
also, I wanted to give people a chance to, I don't see a lot of people outside of my team, so I wanted to give people a chance to have a face with the name and,
oh,
I guess,
absolutely.
see my
It
personality.
See your personality, get to know you as not just Matthew Barber, the knock engineer at Edafio Technology Partners, but
Mhm.
Matthew Barber, who has things that we don't necessarily know about that now we do. Like, for instance, what is something that you do that most of us don't know about? Let's go ahead and just jump to that question.
Yeah, so I kind of, I don't know if I should be ashamed of it, but I played clarinet for like 7 years. I'd like to say I'm pretty good at it. I think I was first band, like fifth chair for a lot of that time. And I stopped playing once I graduated high school just because it was not directly in front of me, I guess, and I had other things I wanted to do with my life. But that was really fun. I got to play in like concert band and marching band and go out on football field in halftime and play. It's a very powerful feeling that I'll probably never get to have again, but I traded that for guitar and now I just kind of play guitar in my off time. Equally fun.
Was it easy to transition from clarinet to guitar? If
I think a
you,
lot of the same principles are there,
yeah,
like music theory and being able to read music, which is slightly different because you kind of have to transpose it between tablature and um, just standard music. It's a lot of the same. As long as you have the foundations of it, it does carry over quite a bit. But as far as mechanical playing, no, it's totally different.
yeah,
You can play chords is like the main difference. So you're not stuck to one note and being part of like an ensemble where those all come together. You have I guess a larger voice. That makes sense.
yeah. What kind of guitar do you play? Just acoustic, electric? Is
I've
there,
got I've got both, but I primarily play electric. Just I guess the musical style suits me better. I don't know. I like both though.
is there any particular type of music you play over others? Is it classic, regular, like current pop? Or,
Yeah, I like a lot of classic rock. I've been really getting into like funk lately,
yeah,
or like it's kind of like a funk jazz. I really like listening to that, and
jazz.
Corey Wong and Wolfpack and I don't know some other bands. I couldn't name
Well,
any off the top of my head.
it makes me think just because I've interviewed a lot of Adafio associates, and there's a significant number that play music.
hmm
I mean, wouldn't it be cool to get you guys together sometime and just like have like a
Yeah,
jam session? I mean, I don't know what it would look like, but there's enough of you that maybe you do it already. And maybe that's something some of you guys get together, but I feel like there's at least five or six, if not more. I mean, I
yeah,
might want to ask Tracy to put together a survey and say, how many of you would be interested in getting together and do like a after work jam session?
yeah. We're talking about starting band Dafio.
That's
We're gonna
right.
have we're gonna have Derek on the drums. Tanner plays bass. We'll have to fill in the rest. I don't know. Maybe Kate will play the triangle or something. I don't know.
Yeah, and then we'll already have the band that we need for our company party. So
Exactly.
I think I'm gonna recruit you guys to play. It'll be outside anyway. That's the goal, and we'll just have fun with that. That sounds
Yeah.
like a good idea. What would you be doing if you weren't doing this? Would you be doing anything with your music or something else?
No, I don't think I'm that good. I've always said that I'd start an ice cream shop called Barbershop Ice Cream, just based off my last name, and I'd have like the barber pole outside spinning. It's got the red, white, and blue. That would probably never happen though, and I'd probably just be programming, since that's what my degree is partially in. And
Yeah,
I liked it well enough. I just didn't want to do it as a career because I feel like doing it academically and doing it as a career are much different. And as I enjoyed doing it, academically and for fun, I don't think it's the same, and I don't think I'd enjoy it
yeah.
as a job.
Is it just too monotonous? What would be the main reason you
Yeah.
just
And
not?
a lot of it is editing other people's
Yeah.
code and figuring out what their code even is, and I don't know. It just seems, yeah, monotonous. I
I
think what I do
mean,
now is much
that's
better.
the word that comes to mind to me
Mhm,
because programming and coding, it seems like a lot of attention to detail, a lot of
mhm,
which some people would find fascinating and digging into it like an investigative sort of mentality,
mhm.
but certainly
Yeah, I
not.
will say there were some, the feeling of working on something for like 14 hours straight and then it finally works and everything comes together. That's a really good feeling. And that's what I really did enjoy about it, is seeing the finished product after working on it forever. I just couldn't do it day in and day out.
But now you have celebratory wins that you can have throughout your day when you have
Yeah.
these troubleshooting calls. It's instead of like drudging along for weeks, hopefully
Mhm.
maybe not weeks, getting into the answer. What is your motto or mantra? Do you have anything that you live by?
Yeah, I like to say time that you've enjoyed wasting is not wasted time.
Yes.
Just I find it very hard to unwind. Um and
You.
and when I'm not working on something, I feel like I'm wasting my time by just, not doing something. And sometimes I just need to remind myself that as long as I'm, enjoying not doing anything, that time is not wasted. Because you need time to decompress and relax and get your mind off of things. But that's not to say that you don't need to spend time, improving yourself or learning something. But definitely enjoy the downtime that you do have, and just make the most of it, even if that means doing nothing.
Right, and not getting anxious over it because I do the same thing. Like I'm like worried about if I'm not doing anything, then I think about all the things that I could be doing, but I need to
Mhm.
be doing nothing. And it's just becomes this cyclical pattern that it's like just
Yeah.
relax. Boredom and having time just to be still is actually probably more beneficial than we realize. Just
Hmm.
paid more attention to that. So
Yeah, definitely.
I think I have those are all the questions that we have for today. Is there anything else you'd want to add? I do have a question. I do have one
Okay.
more. Because you were an intern, so you
Mhm.
started at Edafio as an intern. Is there anything that you could share, shed light on students that are looking to go into technology that would be beneficial? Things that you now know that maybe you wished that you'd known when you at the time, but you now that you do know, you share your wisdom.
Let me think about that. I know coming into it for me was really daunting just because there's so much to it, and working in a business is very different than anything I had experienced just as like an employee at the movie theater, or as a student. And it can be very, very daunting, but as long as you put in effort and go the extra mile, and really spend some time figuring out your role in the business and how they operate and their clients and what they do. As long as you take it day by day, it becomes very manageable. And I guess just take the time to absorb everything. It may seem daunting, but you'll get there.
Step, small
Yeah.
step.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just do what
I
you can to do as much as you can.
That's great. That's super great advice, and I would say that could go for anybody at any age.
Mhm.
Just starting at a new job, for instance,
Mhm.
like it doesn't have to be just an internship, but for me, when I started at Adafio, I felt that overwhelming sense of needing to know everything immediately, but I
Mhm.
couldn't, and it's just impossible. And to just take what I could and know that as long as you're investing and you're putting as much effort and sincere effort into it, then you know that's really all you can do.
Yeah, that's another thing I see often is people wanting to dive right into it, but really just take the time to learn everything first, and
Yeah.
then you can get to the harder stuff. But definitely take on as much responsibility as you can handle. Don't go overboard, and yeah, you'll do well. That's what I'd say.
Well, Matthew, the whole barbershop ice cream, like that's brilliant. If you have children, maybe it can still happen. You can do it
Yeah,
when you retire. So
yeah,
just as a something to think about, like a carrot dangling later on after you've been doing this for so long. I just can only imagine how fun that would be and how successful. But
Yeah.
you'll be successful in what you do now. And it's been such a privilege to talk to you. Thank you for your time. And I
Yeah.
hope you have a great rest of your week. And I look forward to seeing you in Little Rock sometime.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank you, Matthew. Take care.
You
Bye.
too. Bye.